We finally got the debut of Chelsea Green, but it didn't last long. She got injured in her debut. This is your SmackDown review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are discussing SmackDown. It was a pretty decent show, what we've come to expect in recent weeks. SmackDown has been very good as of late for quite a period now, especially since about SummerSlam, maybe just before then. So yeah, it was a really good show. We had some interesting spots, interesting promos. And unfortunately, like the title says, we had an injury. We will get onto all of that in a second. Obviously, this was a bit of a difficult SmackDown to watch for myself, probably for others as well. We had the news of Zelina Vega, a member of the SmackDown roster, being released just before the show aired. So that was probably a bit of a pill to swallow. I've done a review, a kind of reaction video to Zelina Vega being released on my channel. So check that out if you want to get kind of the up-to-date news as to why that had happened. But yeah, we're going to get into the SmackDown review right now. So stay tuned. And right here on this channel, WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And no matter where you're watching, whether that's Facebook or YouTube, please remember to hit the like button. Zakir Barat, hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us on this SmackDown review. So let's get into the show. And the show opened up with Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, coming to the ring, obviously with his aide, Paul Heyman. And he was saying, you know, that the ring right here, SmackDown, is the island of relevancy. This is what he does now. He makes people relevant in here. He was using Jey Uso as an example of someone that he's made relevant and effectively turned to a star. You know, Jey Uso has beaten Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan in the middle of the ring in recent weeks. So yeah, he's just saying that he is basically turning people into stars right here on SmackDown. His promo didn't last long. It didn't last long at all because it was interrupted by Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre came down and it's like, okay, well, I guess Drew McIntyre is here to promo Survivor Series. But right now, Drew McIntyre isn't facing Roman Reigns. He's not the WWE champion. So he came down on some, you know, I'm going to be WWE champion by the time, you know, Survivor Series rolls around next Sunday. Very confident that he's going to overthrow Randy Orton. And Drew McIntyre was saying, you know, obviously we've tussled in the past, that Roman Reigns beat Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, I think 2019. However, their last encounter was Drew McIntyre eliminating Roman Reigns from the Royal Rumble earlier this year, the Royal Rumble that Drew McIntyre won. Then he went on to kind of address Paul and said, you know, Paul Heyman, you know what I'm capable of. You know what I did to your client, Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. And then he kind of took digs at Roman Reigns, you know, you've been gone. I've been the guy around here, sort of thing. Roman Reigns' rebuttal was just so good as to, okay, yeah, I like you. You know, you done your thing. You carried, you know, the company while I was away. I'm back now. No one knows who you are. You know, he even asked Drew to kind of introduce himself. Nobody knows who you are. I'm carrying the show now. No one watches Raw. Paul Heyman chimed in and says, you're not missing nothing either. It was absolutely savage for Roman to kind of go at Drew like that, as if Drew doesn't have, you know, a name out here. It was absolutely savage for Roman to address the whole of the show of Raw, saying that no one watches it, which, you know, is a controversy in itself. It looked like Drew was trying to get all close and personal up into Roman, when all of a sudden Jey Uso ran down to the ring. Now, I would have thought that Roman would have somewhat liked this. However, it was very much Roman thinking, like, I don't need you to run and save me in my battles. But Jey took it upon himself, came down to the ring, and he got into got into Drew McIntyre's face, kind of saying, you know, don't disrespect Roman, blah, blah, blah. This is family and all that kind of stuff. Drew McIntyre stuck it on Jey Uso, though, pushed him, and Roman got in between and kind of squashed it, sort of thing. Backstage, Roman laid into Jey Uso, saying that, you know, I don't need you to fight my battles. Don't do that again, sort of thing. It was a really good segment to start the show. A lot of good dialogue here. Excuse me, especially the Raw stuff, like I said, and telling Drew McIntyre that no one knows you, and that I'm the guy again. So yeah, I thought it was a really, really strong opening to Raw. I mean, Raw, SmackDown, and yeah, it could have it got better as the show went on. Obviously, this story evolving on the night. At this point, we knew. I think Drew McIntyre had asked for a match with Jey Uso, and yeah, it was going to be an unsanctioned match on the night. So that was later to come. Next up, we had an Intercontinental Championship match: Apollo Crews versus Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn came out and was quite annoyed early on, saying that, you know, they told me an hour ago I'm supposed to have this match. How am I supposed to prepare? This is sabotage. And that, you know, as he was going on and rambling on, as Sami Zayn does, Apollo Crews just came out. And these guys are having a pretty stellar match. This was a pretty good showcase for Apollo Crews, showing, you know, he is able in the ring, which is no surprise here. We all know he's very able. But very much the powerhouse over Sami Zayn. A point in the match, Sami Zayn kind of went out and he was like stumbling out the ring, grabbed the ring apron, pulled the ring apron off, which exposed the beams of the ring and all the ropes that tie the mat down to the ring. Apollo Crews went out there to bring him back into the ring, I presume. And Apollo Crews was knocked down by Sami Zayn. His leg was pushed through the ring beams and kind of tied amongst the ropes by Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn then got back into the ring. There was the 10 count, which Apollo Crews couldn't make it back into the ring in time. And Sami Zayn retained the title. Very kind of smart, the typical heel way to overcome someone that they were struggling to overcome, using his brains over Apollo's strength. And if he's going to want to beat Bobby Lashley at Survivor Series, he's going to have to do something similar. He's going to have to use his wits. So, very interesting there what they did to get Sami Zayn to retain the title. I was thinking, are they going to put this on Apollo right before Survivor Series? He can kind of reignite his feud with the Hurt Business guys, but that wasn't the case. Next up, we had Sasha Banks come out, and she was coming to cut a promo, basically explaining, or should I say, stating, you know, the usual kind of stuff when they've won the championship or regained the championship. I'm the guy now. People are coming after me. You know, I'm putting everyone on notice. All that kind of dialogue. We saw Bayley come out. Bayley's music played. Bayley walked out. I don't even think she said much. She definitely didn't have a mic, so maybe she was just shouting. Bayley was literally on screen for about 10 seconds when all of a sudden, and of course that distracted Sasha Banks, as it often does distract any superstar in the ring. Carmella entered the ring from behind Sasha Banks, laid her out again with a super kick, laid her out again with an X Factor. I guess Carmella was trash talking Sasha Banks and really kind of playing up to the fact, like, you know, Sasha, you need eyes behind your back. I'm coming for you. This kind of narrative. But that was it in terms of the segment. Nothing else really happened. In my opinion, the segment was kind of unnecessary. It just was just maybe to get these women on the card. And this was the only kind of female involvement on the show that we had, which was a bit disappointing. Oh, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. We had another female match. But yeah, this particular segment was just a bit nothing. Just a bit nothing. Sasha Banks saying, like I say, all the usual stuff that the champion comes out and says, everyone's after me, but I'm not running. Here we go. Let's have them, sort of thing. Bayley came out very, very in a pointless matter. They could have just played Carmella's music. Carmella doesn't come out the entrance way and then just attack Sasha from behind. Bayley was really like, you know, and Bayley needs to kind of remove herself from the Sasha situation, in my opinion. So yeah, it could have been executed better. Let's put it that way. Could have definitely been executed a bit better. We had a backstage segment of Big E and the Street Profits. Again, the Street Profits served up Big E some food on some platters, and all the food was in a shape of an L. You know, Street Profits, I guess, trying to play mind games with Big E and the New Day, that Street Profits are going to get the win over them at Survivor Series. Big E defended his boys, obviously. You know, he went on a whole spiel about, you know, how great the New Day are and how Street Profits are New Day light, diet New Day, that they're never going to reach the heights of New Day and all this kind of stuff. It was all right. It was all right. I mean, obviously, both Big E and the Street Profits are very good in terms of like a performance aspect. But, you know, Street Profits have went over to SmackDown, faced Ziggler and Bobby Roode once, and nothing much has happened since then for them, apart from these backstage segments with Big E. And then Big E, what's happened to the singles push? What's happened to the singles push that we were promised? I still think Big E will probably be the last member of Team SmackDown, men's team, going into Survivor Series, but we didn't even get a qualifying match on the night. So maybe that happens next week. I don't know. But Big E was all dressed up in his gear and didn't feature in the ring. So I don't know if they're dropping the ball there again. We shall see soon. We had the Otis backstage segment as well, where he was eating a lot of food. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler kind of laid into him, saying, you know, he's eating on his own, he's lost his only friend, blah blah blah. This led to an Otis versus Dolph Ziggler match. A match we've seen quite a few times this year already, given the whole Dolph Ziggler, Mandy Rose, Otis angle. Nothing special here at all. Nothing special here at all. Otis knocked him down, hit him with a caterpillar, went up for the Vader bomb. When he went up for the Vader bomb, you saw that Bobby Roode was trying to kind of get in the way. Otis scared him off somewhat, dropped the Vader bomb. Dolph Ziggler got pinned 1, 2, 3, and that was it. What I thought was more interesting from this entire segment was backstage after the match. Otis bumped into Gable. Gable being Chad Gable now. He's not Shorty G anymore, wearing his old previous gear. And Gable now has an academy, the Alpha Academy, I believe it's called. And he was saying, you know, Otis, that was a brilliant performance. However, we could really make you a star if you have some discipline, and I can be the guy to put that discipline into you, sort of thing. And I thought, shouldn't you be trying to get your own career back on track, mate? You know, you're here trying to I don't know, really get Otis to be a star, but there's star qualities in yourself which you haven't really brought out. And yes, then letting him be Gable again, which is brilliant, but in my opinion, he needs to work on himself rather than trying to get Otis over. His mannerisms were a bit heelish, were a bit cocky heel. I don't know what angle he's gonna go with his new character being back as Gable. I guess we will see, but yeah, I think Gable needs to concentrate on himself before trying to improve others on the roster. Finally, we had the final chapter, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. But before we get on to that, guys, if you are enjoying the review, please hit the thumbs up button. It's thoroughly appreciated right here at WrestleManiac UK, and it does loads for the channel. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, smash the like button. Thank you very much. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. This feud has been going on forever, but they promised, and I say that very loosely, they promised this was the final chapter. It was all going to be done. Rollins came out with his disciple, Murphy. Rey Mysterio came out with his entire family, Angie, Alea, and his son, Dominic Mysterio. And this was a no-holds-barred match, and it was pretty good. It was pretty enjoyable. Definitely what this feud needed. This blow-off match, so to speak, should have happened quite a while ago. I know Rey Mysterio got injured somewhere in between this entire feud, which probably delayed it, but this was very necessary. We saw a table spot of a powerbomb through the table to Rey Mysterio. We saw an attempted stomp on the stairs outside. Very kind of brutal match. Obviously, both men showing their hate for each other. In the end, Murphy got into the ring and gave Rollins a chair. And again, everyone's like, oh, Murphy, you know, I thought you were with Leia. You thought you were trying to win over the family. He gave Rollins a chair. And before Rollins could use the chair, Murphy turned around and gave him a knee to the face, like a V trigger. This kind of helped set up a Rey Mysterio 619. Rey Mysterio botched the 619 attempt before this. But he set up the 619. Rollins went down. He went up top for the Eddie Guerrero frog splash, paying homage to Eddie Guerrero as it is 15 years to the day where he passed away. Hit Rollins with a frog splash and got the win. So the feud is over. We hope it's done. Like I say, really, really good match. In the end, Buddy Murphy was on the apron. Rey Mysterio invited him into the ring, and Rey Mysterio shook his hand. You know, he's kind of pledged his allegiance, I guess, now to the family. Alea runs over, gives Buddy Murphy a big hug. Buddy Murphy kind of greets the rest of the family. And it's like they can all live happily ever after. Literally like a Disney story that's come full circle and come to the end. Like I say, we hope it's done now. Next week we are getting Murphy versus Rollins because Rollins was fuming, went backstage to demand a match with Adam Pearce. So yeah, we're getting Murphy versus Rollins next week. Next up, we had another qualifying match for the women's Survivor Series team. We had Natalya backstage before, kind of demonstrating still that she has needs the opportunity to be on the team. And as she walked out of the picture, Chelsea Green popped her head into the picture. So Chelsea Green debuted on Raw with what are they called again? Retribution. She was never revealed as a member of Retribution, but I think we all knew she was ideally supposed to be there. Now she's popped up on SmackDown and she was inserted straight into this match. Liv Morgan versus Tamina versus Natalya versus Chelsea Green for a spot on the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team. It didn't last long. I thought with Chelsea Green showing up that she was supposed to kind of win here. I thought that she would get the win here. However, she got injured. There's a point in the match where she took a drop kick from Liv Morgan to outside the ring, and she got injured. Her wrist broke, apparently. We didn't know this at the time, but it's come to pass that her wrist broke. From my knowledge, this isn't the first time her wrist has broken in the WWE. This very much can be the exact same wrist, which, you know, if it's a reoccurring injury, it probably is the same wrist. So very unfortunate. For long periods of this match, this was just Liv Morgan versus Natalya, because even Tamina was selling for long periods on the outside. Chelsea Green, again, like I said, was injured. She was on the outside. So eventually Tamina just kind of got back into the ring. Liv Morgan got her down. I can't remember, was it a finisher or whatever? And then Liv Morgan pinned Tamina. So Liv Morgan will progress to the Survivor Series team to join Bianca Belair and Ruby Riott. Really good spot for Liv Morgan. I've never kind of seen her be so dominant in the past within a match. She made a good account for herself. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably the decision going into the match. Chelsea Green, very unfortunate. So yeah, it is what it is. Just looking at some comments. We got Sam, what's up? Hope you're good. We got Jamie, Ebo bro over there, Ebo Quinn. Hope you're good, bro. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up right here with the main event. So the main event, as we had kind of known going into this, was going to be Drew McIntyre over from Raw versus Jey Uso, unsanctioned match. Again, a very, very good match. Both guys involved. Jey Uso has been putting on bangers. Like, let us not lie. It's been this match, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan in between that. Both the matches he's had with Roman. He's been putting out, like, obviously he's involved in a very hot storyline, but Jamie's making me laugh in the comments. But yeah, he's literally been putting on. So very happy to see Jey Uso get this kind of opportunity. And this match went off. You know, Drew McIntyre did kind of dominate very early from the opening bell. But Jey Uso worked his way back into the match. We saw Roman Reigns rear his head, come out from the entranceway to, you know, apply that extra pressure to Jey Uso to make sure he knows what's going on, make sure he knows what this is all about. We saw Roman Reigns telling Jey Uso, make sure he understands. And it's like, what a statement. Like, not much is even said within that, but just make sure he understands. Jey Uso kind of got back into the ring, plummeting Drew McIntyre with punches. Eventually, Drew McIntyre popped up and delivered the Claymore kick, which put Jey Uso away while Roman Reigns just looked on. There was no Roman Reigns running to Jey Uso's defense, trying to stop the pin. He literally just watched on and was just like, okay, this guy has embarrassed us. I'm sure we're going to get some type of backstage segment on WWE.com or next week of Roman Reigns laying into Jey Uso for losing to Drew McIntyre, but we didn't quite get it on the show. Drew McIntyre then got out the ring following the Claymore kick, and he faced Roman Reigns man to man, looking at each other. Roman Reigns didn't seem phased. Roman Reigns said in his very kind of monotone to Drew McIntyre, looking at his Universal Championship, which was on his shoulder, he said to Drew McIntyre, get yourself one of these and then we can talk come Sunday. Brilliant. Like, Roman Reigns, like, who would have known all of this was in this guy? And I think we had seen glimpses of it, but WWE would just wouldn't let him go and be his own man. But now we're seeing it. Probably being very kind of reared and conditioned with the help of Paul Heyman. You know, like I said, it was so effective. Little was said, but so effective. Get yourself one of these, as in the championship, and then we can talk come Sunday, i.e. Survivor Series. Guys, what do you think? Is Drew McIntyre going to beat Randy Orton on Monday? Because it's very much looking like that at this stage. And that, like I said, I think I said this on my Raw review earlier in the week. You guys can catch it on the channel. That I think if this is Drew beating Randy Orton so soon after Randy Orton wins, it can only make me think that Edge isn't ready to come back yet, because they want to do Randy versus Edge for the title. And if they're going to put it back on Drew, it just makes me think that, yeah, Edge must not be recovering well. So that match is in jeopardy. So maybe Drew does pick it up on Monday. I will be watching, and you guys know I will be reviewing to see if Drew becomes WWE champion, a two-time WWE champion, and goes on to face Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Guys, that is my SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the top of the show, this show was kind of marred for me and probably for others by the exit of Zelina Vega being released from WWE, all in regard to all this Twitch-related stuff, third-party ownership, independent contractor, all these buzzwords that we're hearing. I done a video on it late last night when the news was broke. So if you want to go and see that and catch more information on that, it is on the channel. So yeah, go and check that out. Also, just so I can drop it in now, as this is a SmackDown episode, it has come to light that Aleister Black requested his move from SmackDown to NXT, and that was declined. Aleister Black has asked to leave SmackDown and go back to NXT, and that was declined. So is that part of the story? Is that going to be part of the issue here with Zelina, maybe with himself in WWE going forward? We will only wait and see. Guys, if you enjoyed this review, please hit the thumbs up button, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We appreciate when you hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.